我发现挺有意思的这款游戏。
这个实现了他心中的梦想，可是呢，一路走来，北范确实不容易，吃了不少苦。
我姥姥对我是最重要的，就算当初我爸他们这边怎么反对我，但是我姥姥这边他们是自始至终也没有放弃过我，所以我觉得我姥姥对我实在太重要。
那现在的那个没跟着他，选的他喜欢的路，他走对了，想干的事情干一样转一样，越来越好。我们也来心里挺高兴的，挺好的。
然后当时我本来是原定的计划是退役1年，我第2年就 TI6我会继续打的，是这样一个考虑。然后在今年年初，就是我休息完半年之后，也是在一次比赛上 DSC 的时候看到 CTC 这个新队，当时我也是接到他们队的邀请，本来打算过去帮他们的。当时也是因为他们队本来没比赛，但是最后没比走了，所以最后我就选择了HOME这边，也是基本上都是新人，然后就过来继续选择带新队，因为感觉我们这个圈子的那个新鲜血液实在是太少了。但是今年我带他们去了，这个第一步已经是实现了。凝聚力也非常重要。其实对于每一个 team 团队来说的话，团队经济、凝聚力都很重要，不管是新队老队。所以人一定要在把状态调整到最好的前提是你要亢奋起来。所以一般我们赛前我们都会，比如拍2下掌，加油！
我对他有很大的这个盼望，希望他这回拿到冠军。
Wow, I feel like saving the best for last.
Oh, my chest.
Yeah, I almost definitely got water there. I am a bit of an emotional guy, but when he's talking about, the support he got from, or the support and the non-support that he got from his family and how that was split and therefore how much amplified his support from his grandmother meant, and that drive, bringing him back in earlier than originally he planned, that's pretty crazy.
When you see them just freaking out in those game booths.
Yeah.
And how much they're into the game, it's amazing. I don't know what else to say. That's just, I want to love something that much. Could it be you?
I saw Phil come out.
That caught me off guard. I don't know what to say.
I don't know. I mean,
I'll think about
that video.
I'll write you an email later this week. I'll think about it.
That's amazing. They're giving everything when they go out there.
And when he was talking about why he chose eHome, just the story leading up to that, he looked at CDEC and then maybe left, and then he decided, all right, we need more newer talent. We need new blood coming in. We're gonna go, and he wants to lead them to victory, to possibly a championship. Winter, I mean, any thoughts on RTK and eHome?
I mean, that's him as a person. I've talked about him a lot. Like, he's a great personality. I mean, in the game itself, it shows it's either he does very well or he doesn't do very well in the lane. He's special. He's one of the very few people in Dota that care a lot about growing the scene. Like from C, we always talk about Mushi, but in China, they talk about RTK. He wants to teach the younger generation so that they actually learn the hardships of Dota 1. Because he came from Dota 1, there were a lot of hardships back then. Not so much sponsors, events aren't as big, but they still persevered. So I think he wants to pass it down to the younger generation so everyone would remember what was Dota once was.
Yeah, and you can see that just the passion running through him. I mean, when I'm talking, one of the more emotional players we've seen in his video, just telling his story. So, ladies and gentlemen, eHome trying to go for this huge run on the last day, and they are playing up a rematch of the qualifiers against CDEC. That will be on stream 3. I'm throwing you guys curveballs left and right. So that'll be on stream 3. On our stream, we're going to look at Empire versus MVP Hot 6 because this, in some ways, has a bigger implication. Can Empire fight for another chance to get into the upper bracket, right? If they 2-0 MVP Hot 6, they force a tiebreaker against VP. That'll be a rematch, of course. They played earlier in the group stages, but because it is for that 4th seed, they will have to play a rematch series. And looks like draft is already underway. And look at this. Lesh gets through. So it looks like we're going to have an explosive, and on Empire's side, actually. Not sure how Hot 6 let that slip through, or maybe, they've seen
They
it happen
didn't ban
enough.
it.
Well, thank you. I wasn't sure of the mechanics here in the drafting phase, but now I know. If it goes through, it's because it didn't get banned. I've learned. I didn't learn for the past 3 days, but you got me, Sid. I know I can trust you.
How do you stop the balanced blue Billy Go? Besides committing to the standard AM pick, maybe later on, some teams like Cloud9 have gone all in to pulling out like
Yes.
a Pugna early, which was their downfall
They picked
thereafter.
the jumping spear guy.
The jumping. Now we're just going nicknames left and right. No. But even then, you want to pick that later, right? Because otherwise the Lesh can be rotated into support. You don't want to commit too hard to this. It's a very fine line to walk.
I mean, you have time to pick the jumping spear guy since no one's gonna ban it. So
Well, I don't know. Next level mind game is winter. We might just start seeing all these other bans come out as we go forward. But for now, Hot 6 they're gonna rest with the Tusk and Quap. Not bad at all. I mean, if you're gonna give away that Lesh, it's still a fair trade, I guess.
So I suppose at this point, Empire probably going to get some sort of support to go along with Lesh here. Top grabs obviously seem to be Dazzle, your Wyvern, and Earthshaker's still there. Take your pick.
Shaker.
yeah, Shaker is probably the best with Flash as well. I think but it's commonly prioritized by the Chinese teams. I don't know what the Russian teams think, what they want to pair with the Lash. They're gonna pair a much more, I want to say, aggressive one because you want to go track and get more kills. Whereas Earthshaker is much more of a balanced and all-rounder one. You can defend the Lash Rock and you can
not every single
combine
team
your spells
has the
together
same.
as well.
Yeah, I mean, Empire, of course, Yoki had some huge highlights with the Shaker on day one, but at the same time, the games didn't end up very well. They are going with the Bounty Hunter this time, and then banning out that Anti-Mage. So
Kind of shows that they do want this Lesh in more of a core position
Right.
now.
I mean, Hot
Yeah.
6 doesn't really pick anti-mage that much. I mean, even if they pick, I don't recall them picking in any of the games from C. They don't really pick the hero that much because they feel that it's a hero that requires too much of a time to farm himself. So the team plays -1 hero.
and hey,
Okay.
there you go.
Wow,
Winter.
right.
No jumping spear guy.
You jinxed it. I mean, especially against Hot 6, there definitely is a history here, right, for Empire to say, hey, if we've already shown our hand by banning the Anti-Mage that we want to make this a core Lesh, let's just ban the Husker too. Let's just not
Are
take
you
that
moving
shot.
this up because you think it's a good counterpick to Lesh? Because it's actually not that bad.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
actually,
Manly
it's actually decent, like what Archon did. It didn't work in the end, but it's a good idea to have someone that bursts the Lash Rock down from full very quickly, and you can tank over his spells as well, like when you're next to him with your ultimate on.
Any other options you can think of that can battle it out?
Nyx Assassin.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice.
Oh, that's true.
It was picked by EG. They did lose the game.
right.
But I think there were other reasons as to why. No, wait, actually, did they win that? Was that the game?
Nyx Assassin?
I'm trying to think.
They lost that game. It was the Nyx and PPD on Tusker. Was it
That
that
was
game?
the Tusker game. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, they did
Yeah.
lose that game. I think that's a decent idea for MVP Hot 6. They could even curveball a little bit. Okay, that doesn't look like that is going to be the case. They will be grabbing the Clockwork
clock.
together with Dazzle.
Does Hot 6 have a plan here for the Lesh? I mean, other than, the clock, sure, you can work out, and yeah, Dazzle's okay too, but nothing specific, right? I mean, they're just trying to go with whatever is also just stable overall and that they can work with.
Clock is a really good pick. It's Clock with Blade Mail can challenge Lesh, just getting close so he can't
Yeah.
cast his spells. And if he has Pulse Nova running, if he has Edict running, he kind of kills himself along with you.
True.
It's also a great pick against the Earthshaker. So you can, if you isolate Shaker and Cogs with Battery Assault running, he can only cast one of his spells, which is Echo Slam. The other ones have too long cast animations that keep getting cancelled. So it's pretty good. It's not that that this is not a good pick, but I still. The experience we've had from this tournament so far is that Clock as a counterpick to Lesh just hasn't really been good enough. The Blade Mail comes too late. If Lesh has a good game, he outfarms him. Lesh can choose to just get a Force Staff, and when he gets cogged in, he can force out, or one of the supports gets a force. He could get a PKB. He could even, to an extent, get a Yules and then outlast the cogs with that.
Okay.
That's more situational. That's if the Yules is good for a secondary thing. For example, setting up for ganks against Quap and whatnot. And now, Empire, they just grab Disruptor. So if you hookshot in, send you back out, and Lesh probably going to be okay.
All right, well,
Sometimes Clockwork actually appreciates the sandbag. You just get you just want to go in and get your cogs down and
then
hold
you-
one target, and you want to get out. Like usually you do that and you force stuff out, but if the disruptor does that for you, I mean you're happy. I guess it depends on.
I mean, I guess in
what's
that
going
situation,
on?
like kind of both teams could be happy, right? The clock's like, all right, well, that's all right for me. And of course, the disruptor side's like, yeah, I mean, we're fine with it too.
Fits nice with a situation where they're maybe on the prowl catching like a quap and she's tracked up and she thinks she can blink away to safety, and then they have the glimpse
Of course.
ready to scout her and pull her right back. So having that extra vision for a glimpse, which has huge range, is very, very nice.
Yeah, well, the Razor and the PL being the last bans here, and Hot 6, I mean, do you think there's something they need to pick, like, specifically a little bit stronger against this Lesh, or at this point you just got to rely on your team play to make this work out?
I feel like their last pick should be targeted, but it has to be a safe lane core now. And Husker would have been their go-to. I think it would actually been really good in this game.
Would you
as
like
well.
Juggernaut here?
Juggernaut is a pretty decent idea.
Okay.
I could definitely see that. You need, when it comes to Lesh, like you said, it's either you go in and you burst him down really hard, or you need to have someone who can just kind of sustain against Lesh. So Juggernaut kind of does both. You can Blade Fury against the spells so you don't get killed, and you can burst him with Omnislash. And Ursa, kind of the same idea. You can cast Enrage to outlast Lesh, and you can burst him down with the Overpower. So I would like to see one of those two. I actually think Ursa could really catch Team Empire off guard. Now the risky thing is that the synergy with Clockwork is not that apparent, because. But you want to get a Blink Dagger and Ursa, so you'll probably be okay. This is a very important pick. I think it has to be a really good one for MVP to be able to fight Empire.
Now, just as a reminder, of course, it's not good enough just to win one map for Empire. So, I mean, they looked pretty content. Of course, this draft, I mean, I don't think anyone would be complaining about the
Life
picks that
Stealer?
Empire got. But
I don't know. He just flashed through my mind.
Yeah, you got the
Oh.
vehicle there with your
bring him up.
Clockwork and Queen of Pain.
It is possible. He has not been picked yet.
And I think it was actually against Hot 6. It was E-Home going against